All right, so here I am at one of my favorite waterfall playgrounds. I thought I'd take a moment in the parking lot to teach you guys how to run waterfalls. You ever hear the term plop and drop? This whole idea of running waterfalls, people think it's easy. They think you line up at the lip and then you go. Waterfalls are a lot more than just lining up at the lip. It's an art, but there's a lot of skill involved as well. I think it's about time we learn how to fly our kayak. Trying to land flat off a drop, speed's your friend. You want all the speed you can get, but most of the time when you're running waterfalls, if you want any real solid control over your landing angle, or if you want to plug the waterfall, if you're looking at taller waterfalls, speed's the enemy. And so this is one of those times when negative strokes become your friend. And so as you approach the lip of a waterfall, the technique is to go either the same speed as the current or slightly faster than the current approaching the lip. Going the same speed as the current off the lip, it actually helps you melt further into the lip. Just make sure that's what you want. Melting further into the lip and further into the curtain increases your chances of potentially popping up behind the waterfall. Adding just a touch of speed to where you're going just a little bit faster than the lip helps you propel a little bit past the curtain without breaking free of it. That way you're on the downstream side of the curtain as you free fall. As you approach the lip of the drop, it's important that you hinge forward and that you reach and you look over the waterfall. The tendency is to pull back and say, whoa, and pull back away from the waterfall. Pulling back away from the waterfall effectively tilts your torso back, unhinges your hips. So even though you don't mean to lean back as you go off the drop, if your body position doesn't change, you're effectively leaning back too. So either pulling back from the base of the waterfall because you're scared, or not adjusting your angle as you free fall, both cases send you on the back of your boat, and both cases are going to pitch you forward on your head. The same thing can happen from tucking too early at the top of the waterfall. There's two ways to approach the lip of a waterfall, essentially. The straightforward method is a little bit blind. The problem with going straight off of a waterfall is that your bow is in the way of being able to really see your landing and spot your landing. So it tends to be a little bit harder. The straightforward approach is really best if your plan is not to plug. Your plan is to 45 it or boof out away from the lip. That straightforward method can be really great because you can take your paddle, plant it on the true lip, and you can even load your paddle before you get to the true lip and then wait for the true lip to pull. If you've chosen to boof out, then your paddle needs to be in a nice neutral position. It's better to lift your elbows up over the paddle to give you a little bit of leverage. We call them chicken wings, but basically it gives you a lot of control over your descent. But you also need to turn your paddle to the side. Turning your paddle to the side prevents the paddle from coming back into your face. The most common waterfall injuries is face-to-boat contact or face-to-paddle contact. So positioning your paddle to the side allows for your body to absorb the impact without sending it straight to your face. The straightforward approach is also really good for bumpy, shallow lips, where you may get flipped if you try to go in at an angle. The off-angle approach is better if you want to plug. So the off-angle approach, if this is the lip of the waterfall, involves angling your boat at about 45 degrees so that as you go off the lip of the waterfall, you're actually able to look over the edge and spot your landing. It's a little bit scary, but spotting your landing is vital if you plan on truly landing vertically. And as you go off the lip of the waterfall, just hold a stationary stroke. And the point of that stationary stroke is to give you an option. The option is either to use it as a reverse stroke to push back to vertical, or to pull a little bit if you need to bring your bow back up. If you pull the stroke hard, you may boof. Once you're in free fall, making sure that you're staying nice and forward and spotting your landing. The landing is gonna be that spot where the curtain goes into a seam from the hull of the waterfall. It just looks like a pit. It looks like an empty hole or a pit. And it's probably the scariest looking spot to look on the waterfall. But you have to actually think about climbing toward it. Looking at the pit and climbing toward the pit of the waterfall is how you make sure that you stay nice and hinged forward as you go off the lip of the drop. Be ready to make corrections as you fly your kayak, making corrections to the sides, making corrections back and forth. Corrections are really simple. If you start to rotate a little bit too much to one side, you can put your paddle on the other side, and a lot of times that'll straighten you back out. If you lean back or hinge back just slightly, your bow will drop a little bit. If you want to lift your bow, hinge forward, and that'll lift your bow up a little bit while lifting your knees. So it's important that you do it in a way that's quiet. Quiet motion, a quiet body, but connected to your kayak is important for running waterfalls. If you've chosen to plug, you'll spot your landing and you'll want to plug in the last second of your free fall. It is literally a last second thing that you do. Here's what the tuck looks like. So when you're landing a bigger waterfall, and really any waterfall that you're going to be plugging, it's important to make sure that your body is tucked forward. Tucking forward takes the pressure off of your back and your spine and allows your core to compress instead of your spine. Keeps you safe. The other thing about tucking forward in a forward position is that you become more streamlined. If you're straight up and down or even leaning back, then what happens is your body creates a lot of drag on entry and the pool will make an impact with your upper body. Which isn't very fun. Doing a big belly flop off a tall waterfall doesn't feel very fun. And so tucking up is a good way to protect your body, to keep you safe, and to make the entry into the plunge pool a lot smoother. I hope that you've enjoyed it and learned a lot. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, pass it around and share my channel. I'm growing this and I am making lots of new videos. Tell me what you want to learn and tell me what you think of this one in the comments below. I'll see you on the river.